Greetings, children. We are now done with chapter 1 in English, the fun they had. The fun refers to the enjoyment, had refers the past, and they refers to those students of all times. That means in old schools, the fun the students have had. Right? Look at the posters at the top of the page. What do you read? Your old school is always cool. Look at the gathering and the enjoyment, and uh, look at the closeness amongst the friends, you see, in the poster which is given in the middle. All students, all friends get together at school, having a lot of fun along with their learning. And the last poster, what do you read? Shout out to old people for graduating high school without Mr. Google. That means they did all their learning, they achieved, they accomplished their assignments when they put their labor in. Not cutting, copying, and pasting from Mr. Google. So you should hail them with high regard. Right, so what was the takeaway from this chapter? Let's go to its theme. The theme is, of course, wanting for something which was missing, yes, and gratitude. Those children in 2157 wanted something and they also give thanks. That means even in the situation of wanting something, they knew how to say thanks for what they had. Right? Let's say in the chapter, the fun they had, the central idea of future schools and education system is focused. Isaac Asimov, an American English writer, he tried to suggest that people usually long for what they do not have through Margie's longing to experience the school of old times because she is fed up with her computerized learning. In the beginning of the chapter itself, you can see this when Margie is shown quite adamant that she doesn't like her school. But once she comes to know about the old schools, she becomes curious about knowing those things her school is missing. Now, this makes her look for more and long for more what she feels is not there or which is missing. On the other hand, see, you look at Tommy's example. Tommy strongly believes in the e-books and is grateful of his computer teacher that it can hold thousands of books when he says his teacher is good for plenty more. And he has a point when he says this. He sees that making of a printed book, once it is read, learnt or done with, what you do with the old books? You just perhaps chuck it into the junk. And all the labor which is put into the making of the book goes waste. Right? So that also shows that even though the kids are fascinated by old books, they are also able to find, those little bright spots in their own situation. What message is conveyed through this chapter? What Isaac Asimov deals here very specifically is the school system, which will be increasingly computerized and estranged from socialist interactions. Right? Now, estranged, that means devoid of. Right? Something having lost the closeness and the affection which was there earlier. He says that a traditional school system will be replaced with a computerized homeschooling system. But he also suggests that technological progress can have its own major drawbacks and it comes with legions of other consequences as well, especially in the domain of education and social development of child. Such education will be impersonal, and would minimize the human connection, which will hence isolate students. They would miss out on their social time, their productivity at school, and their co curricular activities, because they also build a very important part of a student's personality and their overall development. Let's take the current situation for an example, students. See, you are being all taught, you learn, you attend online classes. What sort of major difference do you feel? The way you attend class with your teacher in the school classroom and the way you attend your class in your bedroom through your Android phone perhaps, or your laptop or your desktop system. It makes a huge difference. You see, it is difficult for you to solve your doubts and your difficulties. However, your teachers tried their best to solve your difficulties, isn't it? Right, so this is the major drawback of going online, going digital, and learning things from a virtual teacher, you see, which is addressed as a mechanical teacher in this chapter. Now, what is the summary of this short story written by Isaac Asimov? See, for Margie and Tommy, going to school means sitting alone in their room, in their respective houses, while staring at their computer screen, which will deliver information at a pace. Now, this sort of education system is meant to be more individualized and more efficient for learning, wherein the chapter it bores the students, isn't it? Moreover, the robotic teachers are repaired by human engineers. It shows that computer teachers do not have ability to connect to children both socially and emotionally. Perhaps the fun they had appears to be a very simple children's story to you, students. But the narrator here, the writer, he provides a serious warning here that technological progress is not always a social progress. Students, you all might imagine computerized learning to be more fun than traditional school approach, but you should also think of its downside, such as first, lack of interactions with students, such impersonal teachers, and learning environment, and finally the bond between the students and the teacher. So finally, what is the bottom line? Virtual classrooms and robotic teachers can never ever replace creative, active, and a traditional school environment and human teachers respectively. You must have realized it by now, students. Right. Now let's go to some important references. You need to mark them down in the text. Please underline them or just highlight them in your digital copy, and as soon as you get your printed copy once the school reopens, could you please mark them down in your textbook. The first reference is in paragraph 1. Today Tommy found a real book. Second paragraph, what a waste. Third, what's there to write about school? I hate school. And paragraph number 6, there are 3 important references. Because it's not our kind of school. Silly, I had changed this word here. A man is not smart enough. And last, he knows almost as much. Children, you very well know how to work with reference to context questions. You need to find their speaker, their listener, and in which context they are working together, why such statements are given to you, right? So kindly do your learning at your end. Now, let us chew on the following. Come on, some home assignment time. I want you to Start trying out writing of your value based question. Please make yourselves aware. I want you all to know that this year you will have your VBQs for 8 marks. I kept on notifying this even in the class last year. So this year you will be writing and taking your value based question not for 3 marks, 4 marks, but for 8 marks. Now this is going to be entirely based on what you have learnt from so and so chapter, and it should be attempted without taking any references from any reference books. I want you all to take your time. See, you have had the learning of this chapter, isn't it? So you are now able to differentiate between the old school and the schools in 2157. You have to draw this difference on a rough paper first and then start writing it in a form of a paragraph, right? You also have to write in your VBQ. Let's read it out. Differentiate between the two kinds of schools in your own words based on your learning the chapter, the fun they had, right? You also have to discuss, once you have drawn the difference between two, you will have to write about which type of schooling do you support or do you prefer by justifying your answer, showing the reason why will you support only such a type of or so and so type of schooling, right? This question comes for 8 marks. Now, the questions that you will write in your notebook. I'm sure you all have access to one rough book at home. Kindly title it as English study book. When your school reopens, I shall ask for this book. Okay? See, in the second question, what you are going to do? You all have your digital copy of your textbook. Yes? You will have to go to chapter 1, and on page number 10, you will have question 1, question 2, question 3 and question 4. All thinking about the text. This entire part is having 4 questions altogether, right? All 4 of them are to be done in a notebook of your choice and availability. If you have any digital notebook you want to write down, please write all your answers in your either in your digital notebook or in your notebook, rough notebook, right? This remains as your home assignment, and I shall be asking once we meet up in the school. So today we leave it only till now. I shall see you again soon. Till then, take care children, stay home and keep safe. Bye.